Hello friends, welcome to my channel, Recap Stories. Today, we're discussing a tale that begins in a world inhabited by a special group of people known as Ajin. These are unique, immortal beings with the resilience to endure any attack. They even possess the ability to revive themselves through their powers. To gather more information about their abilities, the government established the Ajin Committee. We then meet a man named Kei Nagai, who is walking down the street when suddenly, he is struck by a car. Despite this, his body miraculously heals itself, revealing that he, too, is an agent. Before this incident, Kei Nagai was living an ordinary life, but once his identity as an agent becomes known, the agent committee takes him into custody. Instead of protecting him, the committee begins conducting various experiments on him. Kei Nagai is the third agent captured by the government, meaning two other agents were experimented on before him. The head of the agent committee, Yudo Tosaki, has the duty of gathering as much information as possible on the agent to relay to the government. This is why Tosaki instructs the doctor to cut off Kei Nagai's limbs to observe his regeneration. Kei Nagai is still confused and unaware of what is happening to him. Meanwhile, a government officer is collecting information about these experiments from Tosaki, when suddenly, two rebels named Tanaka and Sato launch an attack on the lab. As they enter, they start eliminating all the guards. Then, through a camera, Sato tells Tosaki that he and Tanaka are there solely to rescue Kei Nagai and explains how he saved Tanaka in the same manner a few years prior. Hearing this, Tosaki orders all guards to use special injections to stop Tanaka and Sato. When one of these injections hits Sato's hand, he immediately removes his hand, but it quickly regenerates, showing that he is also an agent. Tanaka and Sato are the two agents who were captured before Kei Nagai. After eliminating the guards, Sato finally reaches Kei Nagai, freeing him, and hands him a gun, instructing him to shoot the remaining doctors. Kei Nagai refuses, so Sato shoots one of the doctors himself. In response, Kei Nagai starts firing at Sato and escapes with the doctors. After a short while, Sato tracks them down and eliminates the remaining doctors as well. Now, he advances toward Kei Nagai, because, despite being an agent, Kei Nagai had chosen to side with the humans. At that moment, Sato summoned a ghostly figure from within himself, which further confirmed that he was an agent. Kei Nagai also called forth his ghost, and the two ghostly figures began to fight each other. Taking advantage of the situation, Kei Nagai tried to escape. As Sato moved to capture him, Kei Nagai ordered his ghost to attack Sato. A short while later, after reviving, Tanaka and Sato decided to address the media. For this, Tanaka disguised himself as a patient, and Sato took him directly to the office of a news channel. The story progresses in a world where unique beings known as Ajin live, possessing the ability to endure any assault and even revive themselves through their powers. To study these abilities, the government formed the Ajin Committee. Sato revealed to everyone the oppression committed by the Ajin Committee and mentioned a website containing videos of the experiments conducted on Tanaka to prove his point. Ending his statement, Sato demanded rights for the Ajin and stated they wanted a separate homeland, arguing that both species could not coexist. After Sato's revelations, the news spread nationwide, and everyone began talking about it. The next morning, Kei Nagai arrived at a village, where he met an elderly woman who felt that Kei Nagai resembled her grandson. For this reason, she invited him to her home. Meanwhile, Kei Nagai's sister, Eriko, who was in the hospital, learned about her brother from the news on television. At the same time, Tosaki's assistant, Izumi, visited Eriko to gather information about Kei Nagai, but Eriko had no information about her brother. Suddenly, Tanaka's ghost attacked Izumi from outside the hospital, but since Izumi was also an agent, she quickly summoned her ghost, initiating a fight between the two. Upon discovering Izumi's true identity, Tanaka entered the hospital intending to kidnap Eriko, but seeing the crowd gathering, he slipped away quietly. Meanwhile, Tosaki was trying to prove his and the government's innocence before the media, claiming that all of Sato's allegations were unfounded and false. On the other hand, Kei Nagai continued to stay at the elderly woman's home, helping her as well. One day, Kei Nagai heard about his sister on the radio, so he secretly went to meet her. He realized that Tanaka and Sato might attack Eriko again, so he brought her to the elderly woman's home. Gradually, Kei Nagai began working hard to control and enhance his powers. Meanwhile, Sato released a video, threatening the government that if his demands were not met soon, he would attack the Ministry of Health. On the scheduled attack date, the Minister of Health sat fearlessly in his office. Suddenly, an aircraft crashed into the Ministry of Health building. Sato was piloting the aircraft, and being an agent, he revived himself after the crash. Many other agents were outside, ready to assist him. As soon as he exited the building, the police started firing at him. At that moment, Tanaka began shooting at the police from a nearby building, giving Sato time to recover. Once he regained his composure, Sato used his powers to eliminate all the police officers and released another video, giving Tosaki and the government a 2-day ultimatum to evacuate Tokyo. Otherwise, he threatened to release toxic gas throughout the city. On the other hand, when the villagers learned about Kei Nagai being an agent, Kei Nagai and Eriko had to flee from the elderly woman's house. Tosaki offered Sato an alternative city in place of Tokyo, but Sato rejected it, arguing that the more powerful nation deserves the larger city. Meanwhile, Tosaki noticed Kei Nagai in the crowd, who was now ready to fight Sato to support the government. In the story, Kei Nagai made a promise to the government that after defeating Sato, no harm would come to his sister Eriko's safety. He requested to remain anonymous after Sato's defeat so he could live in peace with his sister. Tosaki had no choice but to accept Kei Nagai's condition. Subsequently, Tosaki began strategizing with the government to defeat Sato and his followers. In reality, Tanaka was held captive in the research lab for 4 years, while Sato was subjected to experiments for 20 years, which instilled a deep-seated hatred toward humans. Now, their sole aim was to protect the agent from human oppression. 2 days later, Sato and his allies were fully prepared for the attack. One of them first entered the government office to hack the system. Meanwhile, Tanaka confined the people inside the building and started heading toward the rooftop to release the toxic gas. During this time, Tosaki tracked down the hacker and aimed a gun at him. Tanaka and his friends reached the room with the toxic gas, but suddenly, they were engulfed by a dark mist. In reality, Kei Nagai created this mist with the help of his ghost. Taking advantage of this, police attacked Tanaka and his allies with special injections. Sato was initially at a lumber shop, but in the next moment, he appeared inside the building. Tanaka had actually brought Sato's severed hand with him, allowing Sato to revive himself in the room. This tactic of Sato surprised Kei Nagai and the police, as no one had anticipated it. When the police tried to attack Sato, he used his ghost to eliminate all of them. Afterward, he revived Tanaka and both proceeded towards the rooftop to release the toxic gas. Sato had also summoned Kei Nagai to the rooftop, and a fierce battle broke out between the two. Meanwhile, Tosaki found Tanaka and attacked him, but Tanaka used his ghost to stop him. Just in time, Izumi arrived to protect Tosaki, and a fight began between the two as well. During this fight, Tosaki found an opening and attacked Tanaka with a special injection, knocking him unconscious. On the other side, Kei Nagai and Sato's fight also intensified. This time, Kei Nagai's new tactics impressed Sato. Cleverly, Kei Nagai injected Sato's leg, but one of his hands was severed as well. Despite Sato losing consciousness, his ghost remained active and immediately revived Sato. Seeing this, Kei Nagai felt disappointed, as he was exhausted and could no longer fight. Just as Sato advanced to attack him, the police arrived and froze them both with liquid nitrogen gas. Consequently, both were frozen in place. The police shattered their icy bodies into pieces to ensure they couldn't revive. Moments later, Kei Nagai used his severed hand to revive himself, broke the glass, and immediately escaped. I request you to help me reach 10,000 subscribers on my channel as soon as possible. We hope you all enjoyed this video, and if so, please give it a like. Kindly subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for your supportive comments. See you in the next video.